It's time, folks. It was made clear last night in the game against the LA Clippers what needs to be done for this Kings team. And I've been outspoken about this on recent videos, but it really came to fruition last night that this team needs more bench depth out there on the roster. Some moves have to be made to improve the bench depth on this team, as Trey Lyles, Alex Len are definitely solid. Like, I enjoy those basketball players. Like, this is not a bashing session on, the front court bench players for this Kings team. We're still waiting on Orlando Robinson, these types of players, but there needs to be something done to bolster the depth on this Kings team because, again, these are the types of games. You face off against the LA Clippers, a mid-level Western Conference team. These are the teams that need to be won, and frankly, should be won when you have the level of top-tier talent that the Sacramento Kings have. You have DeMar DeRozan, you have a De'Aaron Fox, you have a Sabonis, you have a Keegan Murray, you have even Kevin Huerter, you have Keon Ellis, you have these types of guys out there on the roster, and you don't get a win against the LA Clippers, who, yes, have been outperforming expectations. Yes, Norman Powell's taken a leap and stuff, but again, the Kings don't want to be the 13th seed. They want to be 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st seed, right? That's the area that Kings fans, the Kings organization wants to be in with the current structure of things. And frankly, it's not the top tier talent. This game isn't on DeMar DeRozan or De'Aaron Fox being trash, being garbage, underperforming, doing these types of things. This is on the specific roster construction, and these are things similar vein to what the Dallas Mavericks did last season. They had upper tier talent. They had a lot of guys that were really good at basketball, but the team just didn't make a ton of sense. The depth pieces didn't make a ton of, just didn't fit together that well. And they were bottom tier, not bottom tier, but a mid-level team in the Western Conference last season, and made a couple trades at the trade deadline and made the NBA Finals. And that's something the Sacramento Kings have to do, and last night made that clear. But before we dive into that, folks, again, we are on that quest to 1,000 subscribers, and still over 84% of our viewers haven't hit the subscribe button just yet, so make sure you guys hit that sub button so you don't miss a single thing that's going on with the Sacramento Kings team. You join the community, because again, I'm still very, very bullish on the Sacramento Kings season. I think this is going to be a very, very exciting year, but again, moves have to be made in order to fix the couple holes that we've been talking about the entire start of this year. And, we can take a look at the game in terms of what happened, with this King squad and, obviously Norman Powell, these guys out there on the offensive end, just really for the LA Clippers, the wing players are cooking us, and that's just kind of how it goes. But again, the top level guys just weren't that bad for Sacramento. Like, this is not an issue. DeMar DeRozan probably had one of his worst games as a King. It still just didn't look horrific out there on the basketball court. Sabonis, 23 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. De'Aaron Fox, right, 31 points, had 7 turnovers, which is tough. No assists, which is a factor. Like, again, it wasn't the perfect game for any of the top guys. Malik Monk had an awesome stretch out there in terms of, getting buckets. Definitely went on a couple of runs that kept the Kings in this game, keep it rocking. Because, again, the Kings lost 98-107. So it wasn't a brutal loss by any stretch of the imagination. But, again, the top guys to the Sacramento Kings team are good. It's kind of an off night, but these are the nights where you really need your bench to step up. You really need the secondary players to take their games to the next level. And, frankly, in 7 minutes for Trey Lyles and Alex Len, they weren't able to have that impact. They weren't able to step up, take the load off of some of these top tier guys, to really make things work, in order to make things really come together for this Kings squad, right? And we're seeing it with out there in the Western Conference. It's definitely still close. Like, there's the 3 games back of the 1st seed. This is not a written off or like the Kings should be cooked or something like that this season. But when you see holes in a game against the LA Clippers, against the teams that are currently ahead of you in the standings, which is crazy to say, right? You have to sort of lock in and figure out what's going on. And the lack of bench depth is something I have been bringing up, I feel like, on every video, right? I think this Kings top tier talent is very, very good. Again, and last night it was just an unfortunate game as well, like shooting 11% from the 3-point line. That's that's going to happen every now and then. You have games like that over the course of the season. Again, I think most times, like these matchups, the Kings end up winning this game, even with the current iteration of talent. But just having more reliable pieces that, can round out the offense, can get things going. Like, the Kings are cooking out there in the mid sort of spot, like inside the 3-point line offense this game. But again, Monte McNair, it's officially time. We see it against the LA Clippers, why this is so crucial to see these things happen, because these are the types of games you need to win in order to make a push, to make the rise up there in the Western Conference. And, Sacramento has the top level talent, and I feel like I'm talking in circles on every single video. This is what they need to do. And, maybe you could look at internal growth, like, Orlando Roberts, seeing if he can come back from injury and have an impact, do some different things out there on the court. But like, the top 7 on this team is very, very good. But Isaiah Crawford, Isaac Jones, Orlando Robinson, Doug McDermott can be very good as like spot minutes in terms of having some opportunities there at this point. But like, he's not defensively going to be the type of player that the Kings need. So that's a factor to come in. But that's kind of the biggest gripe, the biggest issue that I have with the current construction, this iteration of the roster that's going on right now. But let's switch gears a little bit because, again, I sort of alluded to it, at the jump, but the Kings shot 11% from the three-point line. And again, you have Kevin Huerter. Keegan Murray has not taken that leap that some were hoping for, especially when early on in his career he was a knockdown three-point shooter. Ray Fox, surprisingly, it's the only guy that really knocked down him, and Keon Ellis at one. You just need more guys to be able to knock down the ball from the three-point range. You don't have a shot at winning these games, and that's the other sort of clear discrepancy, the clear issue in yesterday's performance. I think this is, I think the bench depth is the biggest problem for Sacramento right now. Just having guys that can reliably have an impact out there when, you need it. When DeMar DeRozan's not going to put up 30 every single night. That's not the reality of what's going to happen. He's been amazing for Sacramento this season, but the bench guys have to be able to step in, give you a different look, give you a different impact, and give Mike Brown some options to rely upon. Because regardless, even in a loss like this, you got Sabonis playing 38 minutes, DeRozan playing 40 minutes, Keegan Murray playing close to 40, De'Aaron Fox playing 38 minutes. You want your top guys to be able to play a ton of minutes, of course, but that's a lot of run. That's a lot over an 82-game season. That's a lot of wear and tear that can have an impact on this team as the season goes along. So, yes, again, 23-13, it's not the perfect game from even the top guys, the top level talent. Even with more bench depth, this is a tough game to win when you're shooting 11% from the three-point line. But overall, it's kind of the same sort of story, just from the eye test, from everything that's happening with this Kings team over the, just watching these games, seeing everything that's happening. And it's my prognosis, it's my diagnosis that this team needs a Larry Nance to come in, just have an impact out there, as a ninth man out there, a reliable rotation piece. That's something that can have an impact. Or just pray Trey Lyles. Again, you can't really rely upon it because we haven't seen it just yet. The Kings, it's a dire spot. The earlier that they're able to fix these issues, the earlier they're able to make some of these moves, make things happen. Not one of these blockbuster trades. We're seeing DeMar DeRozan. There's more De'Aaron Fox rumors coming out over the past couple days as well. I don't think that's the move Sacramento needs to make unless it's an absolute heist for the Kings. What they need to do is make moves around the edges that will just be smart, right? Again, over early summer, trading away Davion Mitchell for a Jalen McDaniels, right? Sasha Vezenkov, Davion Mitchell, and then 2 valuable second-round picks for a Jalen McDaniels or Jaden McDaniels, the names, the Jalen McDaniels, who got cut, who we had to trade another second-round pick for. That doesn't make any sense. Those are the types of moves that you have to win in order to bolster the bench depth. And obviously, Devin Carter would have helped with the point guard depth, but obviously he's dealing with injury. There's nothing you can really do about that. But again, just Monte McNair has done a lot of home run swings that have been very effective for this team. Now it's hey, get the things around the edges so this team has the depth, has the ability to really cook out there for this season. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You guys are the best to make this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, signing out.